Welcome back to the channel. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself at 65 years old. You're sitting at your kitchen table, coffee in front of you, morning light coming through the window, and you're doing the math, adding up what you have saved, what your investments are worth, what your monthly expenses are, how long the money will last. And somewhere in that math, you feel it, that quiet, stomach-dropping realization that it is not enough. That 40 years of working, 40 years of getting up every morning, showing up, giving your time and your energy in your best years, did not produce the financial security you assumed it would. That the retirement you imagined, the freedom, the travel, the time with grandchildren, the complete absence of financial stress, is not actually waiting for you on the other side of this math. For millions of people in America, the UK, and Canada, this is not a hypothetical. This is Tuesday morning. This is their actual life. And the cruelest part of it is not the financial stress itself. It is the knowledge that it did not have to be this way. That somewhere, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there were decisions available that would have changed everything. Simple decisions, accessible decisions, decisions that required no special knowledge, no large starting capital, no extraordinary luck. Decisions that just required someone to tell them the truth about time. Today, I'm going to tell you that truth. Because whether you're 25 or 45, whether you're just starting your financial journey or you feel like you are already behind, there are things you can do right now that your future self will be profoundly grateful for. But the window is not infinite. And every year you wait, the math gets harder. Let's talk about building wealth before it is too late. About the relationship between the financial decisions you make today and the life you will actually be able to live in 10, 20, 30 years from now. This is not a video designed to make you feel guilty. It is a video designed to make you feel urgency. Because urgency, directed properly, is the most powerful financial motivator that exists. We are covering 8 wealth-building principles today, each one time-sensitive in a specific way. Each one more powerful the earlier you start, and each one still worth implementing right now, regardless of where you are in your journey. Before we get into the strategies, I need to show you something that most people never see clearly enough to feel. The true relationship between time and money. Most people understand intellectually that starting to invest earlier is better than starting later. They have heard this. They nod when someone says it, and then they do nothing about it for another year. So let me show you the numbers in a way that makes this viscerally real. Meet 3 people. Same income. Same investment vehicle. Same 10% average annual return. Person 1 starts investing $300 per month at age 25 and stops completely at age 35. 10 years of investing. Total contributed $36,000. Then they never invest another dollar. Person 2 starts investing $300 per month at age 35 and invests consistently until age 65. 30 years of investing. Total contributed $108,000. Person 3 starts investing $300 per month at age 45 and invests until age 65. 20 years. Total contributed $72,000. Now here are the results at age 65. Person 1, who invested for only 10 years starting at 25 and then stopped completely, has approximately $1,020,000. Person 2, who invested for 30 years starting at 35, has approximately $678,000. Person 3, who invested for 20 years starting at 45, has approximately $228,000. Person 1 contributed the least money, invested for the shortest period, and ended up with the most by a factor of almost 2, because person 1 gave compound interest 40 years to work. Person 2 gave it 30. Person 3 gave it 20. The difference is not effort. It is not discipline. It is not intelligence. It is time. Pure, irreplaceable, non renewable time. Every year you delay starting is a year you remove from the compounding timeline. And in the later years, when the compound growth is at its most explosive, losing a single year costs you far more than it did in the early years when the numbers were small. This is the truth about time. And this is why the urgency of this video is not manufactured. It is mathematical. Principle 1. Start now with whatever you have the most important principle. And the simplest, start now, today, with whatever you have. Not when you have paid off all your debt. Not when you get the next raise. Not when a market pulls back to a better entry point. Not when your financial situation feels more stable. Not when you feel more ready. Now, because here is what waiting costs you in real numbers. Every single year you delay investing $300 per month, starting at a 10% return, costs you approximately $18,000 in future wealth at a 30-year horizon. Not $3,600, which is what you actually did not invest. $18,000, because that money would have compounded for 30 years. Wait 5 years to start. You have just cost your future self approximately $90,000. Not from a single bad investment decision, simply from inaction. The perfect financial moment does not exist. There is no income level high enough, no debt load low enough, no market condition favorable enough to justify waiting when the alternative is starting with whatever imperfect, incomplete, insufficient amount you can scrape together right now. $25 per month, $50 per month, whatever you have. Start there. The amount you start with matters far less than the fact that you start, because starting builds the habit. The habit becomes automatic. The automatic contribution grows as your income grows. And the precious, irreplaceable, exponentially valuable time, starts working for you the moment you begin. Principle 2. Maximize your highest return investment. First, not all investment returns are created equal. And if time is limited, you need to prioritize ruthlessly. The single highest return investment most working people in America have available to them is their employer 401k match. If your employer matches 100% of contributions up to 5% of your salary, that is an immediate 100% return on the match portion. No investment in the world reliably produces a 100% immediate return. In the UK, employer pension contributions work similarly. Your employer adds to your pension for every pound you contribute. That is free money. Structurally guaranteed free money that most people underutilize. In Canada, employer RRSP matching programs function the same way. This comes before everything else. Before paying extra on your mortgage. Before building a taxable investment account. Before any other investment decision. The employer match must be captured first, because nothing else produces that guaranteed immediate return. After the employer match, maximize your tax-advantaged accounts. Roth IRA in the U.S. Stocks and Shares ISA in the U.K. TFSA in Canada. The tax-free or tax-deferred growth inside these accounts is itself a significant return enhancement over taxable accounts. When time is not on your side, you cannot afford to leave guaranteed returns uncaptured. Prioritize ruthlessly. Principle 3. Eliminate wealth-destroying debt aggressively. Principle number 3. The silent wealth destroyer that most people are carrying right now. High-interest consumer debt is the most reliable way to guarantee that your wealth-building efforts are partially or completely undermined. You cannot build wealth at 10% annual returns while simultaneously paying 24% annual interest on credit card balances. The math is simply against you. The average American carries over $6,000 in credit card debt. The average UK household carries significant unsecured consumer debt. Canadian household debt levels are among the highest in the developed world. Every dollar you carry in high-interest debt has a guaranteed negative return of whatever that interest rate is. Your credit card at 24% APR is producing a guaranteed negative 24% return on that money every single year. No investment portfolio can reliably overcome that headwind. The priority order is clear. Eliminate all high-interest consumer debt, anything above approximately 7% to 8% interest, as aggressively as possible. The return on paying off a 24% credit card is an immediate guaranteed 24%, better than any investment available. Then redirect every former debt payment immediately and entirely into wealth-building investments. The cash flow freed by debt elimination becomes the most powerful wealth-building tool in your arsenal. Time is short. You cannot afford to spend another year paying 24% interest to a credit card company while your investments try to grow at 10%. Principle 4. Build your income aggressively. You build your investments, the other side of the wealth-building equation that most personal finance content ignores. There are two levers that determine how fast you build wealth: how much you invest and how much you earn to invest from. Most personal finance content focuses almost entirely on the spending side. Cut this, reduce that, optimize the other. And those things matter, but they have a floor. You can only cut spending to zero. You can cut your latte. You can cancel subscriptions. You could downgrade your car. But eventually you hit the biological floor of what you need to survive. Income has no ceiling. If time is not on your side, if you're starting later than ideal, the fastest path to catching up is not finding more things to cut. It is aggressively increasing what flows into the system. This means developing high-income skills that command significantly higher market rates. It means asking for the raise you have been avoiding. It means exploring whether your current employer is the right market for your skills or whether better opportunities exist elsewhere. It means building side income streams that can eventually be redirected entirely into investments. A person who increases their income by $1,000 per month and invests the entire increase over 20 years at 10% adds approximately $756,000 to their wealth. $1,000 extra per month. For 20 years. Build your income. Build your investments. Let both compound simultaneously. Principle 5. Invest in assets that work harder than you do. Principle number 5. The philosophical heart of wealth building. If time is short, you need assets that work harder than any human being can work. Assets that generate returns around the clock. Every day, every week, every month, regardless of whether you're working, sleeping, on vacation, or sick. Broad market index funds tracking the S&P 500 or global markets have returned approximately 10% annually over the long term. That means on a $100,000 portfolio, the market is generating the equivalent of $10,000 of work per year on your behalf. Every year, without you doing anything. Rental properties that generate positive monthly cash flow are working every night while you sleep. The tenant pays. The mortgage gets paid down. The property appreciates. The tax advantages compound. 4 separate wealth-building mechanisms running simultaneously, automatically, because you made a one-time decision to acquire the asset. Dividend stocks that pay quarterly income are generating returns simply because you own them. You do nothing. The dividend arrive. You reinvest. The compound cycle continues. Digital products that sell automatically through online platforms. Content assets that continue generating advertising revenue years after creation. Businesses that operate through systems and employees beyond your direct involvement. The wealth builders who catch up after a late start. The ones who build significant assets, even when the timeline is compressed, are almost universally people who found ways to put assets to work. Harder and faster than their personal labor could ever work alone. Build your asset base. Let work for you. Every hour it works is an hour your compressing timeline gets a little more breathing room. Principle 6. Protect wealth aggressively. You build it. The principle that most people ignore until something catastrophic makes it impossible to ignore any longer. Building wealth takes years, sometimes decades of consistent, disciplined effort. A single catastrophic, unprotected event can destroy in a moment what took a decade to build. You must have adequate insurance coverage. Health insurance that actually covers serious medical events, because the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in America is medical bills. A single serious illness without adequate coverage can eliminate years of savings in months. Life insurance, if you have people who depend on your income. Term life insurance is inexpensive for most people in good health and provides a financial safety net that protects everything you are building from the worst possible scenario. Disability insurance, which most people completely overlook. Your ability to earn income is your greatest financial asset. If an injury or illness prevents you from working, disability insurance replaces a portion of that income. Most people insure their car and their phone, but not their income. That is backwards. Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses in a liquid high-yield account. Because without it, every unexpected expense becomes a wealth-destroying event. A car repair charges to a credit card. A job loss forces the liquidation of investments at inopportune times. The emergency fund is the insurance policy on your wealth-building plan. Estate planning, which sounds like something only elderly wealthy people need, but is actually important for anyone with assets, a home, or dependents. A basic will, healthcare directive, and beneficiary designations on all accounts ensure that what you build goes where you intend if something happens to you. Build aggressively. Protect fiercely, both with equal commitment. Principle 7. Stop waiting for perfect and start doing good enough, the principle that addresses the single biggest practical barrier to wealth building. Paralysis by analysis. The endless research loop. The perpetual waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect strategy, the perfect level of knowledge before taking action. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The perfect investment does not exist. The perfect moment to start does not exist. The perfect level of knowledge before beginning does not exist. These are psychological constructs that the fear of making a mistake has created, and they are costing you time you cannot get back. The investor who puts $200 per month into a simple broad index fund starting today, without any advanced knowledge, without any perfect timing, without any sophisticated strategy, will dramatically outperform the person who spent the next 12 months researching the optimal investment approach while doing nothing. Because the first person has 12 months of compound growth working for them. The second person has 12 months of compound growth sitting on the sideline. Good enough, implemented today, is worth more than perfect, implemented someday. Choose a simple, low-cost, broadly diversified index fund. Set up automatic monthly contributions. Do not look at the balance every day. Do not react to market noise. Do not try to be clever. Just start. Consistently. Patiently. The people who build significant wealth almost never do it through sophisticated strategies. They do it through simple strategies applied with remarkable consistency over remarkable periods of time. Simple, consistent, patient. Start today. Principle 8. Build your wealth ecosystem, the integration of everything we have covered into a coherent, functioning system. Individual wealth building actions, saving a little here, investing occasionally there, produce modest results. What produces extraordinary results is building a complete wealth ecosystem where every component reinforces every other component simultaneously. Here is what a complete wealth ecosystem looks like. Your income from your primary job, your side income, your scalable income streams, flows into the system regularly. More input means faster growth. Your expenses, kept deliberately below your income through conscious lifestyle choices, create the surplus that funds the system. The wider the gap, the more powerful the system. Your tax-advantaged accounts, 401k, IRA, ISA, TFSA, RRSP, shelter your investment from taxation and allow compound growth to operate at full efficiency without annual tax drag. Your investment portfolio, broad index funds, dividend stocks, REITs, converts your surplus income into growing, income-generating assets that work continuously on your behalf. Your real estate, if accessible, adds cash flow, equity appreciation, and tax advantages that complement your investment portfolio. Your side business or scalable income adds an income stream that can grow independently of your labor and feeds more capital into the investment ecosystem. Your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, protects the entire ecosystem from being disrupted by unexpected events. Your insurance coverage, health, life, disability, protects the human capital that the entire ecosystem depends on. Your continuous learning, reading, studying, staying informed, keeps the decision-making quality inside the ecosystem high and improves over time. Every component of this ecosystem supports every other component. Stronger income allows more investment. More investment generates more passive income. More passive income reduces dependence on labor income. Reduced dependence on labor income creates more time for building additional income streams. The cycle accelerates. This is not built overnight. It is built component by component, starting with whatever you have today and expanded deliberately over time. But once it is running, once the ecosystem is functioning, it generates wealth with a momentum that is genuinely extraordinary to experience. Build the ecosystem. Start with one component, add the next, and let the system work. Now let me get specific, because the urgency of wealth building is different depending on where you are in your journey. And the actions that make the most impact are different depending on your age. If you are in your 20s, time is your most extraordinary asset right now. More valuable than income. More valuable than any specific investment return. You have the longest compounding runway of any age group, and small actions today produce enormous results later. Your priorities: establish the savings habit immediately. Maximize your employer match. Open a Roth IRA in the US or ISA in the UK or TFSA in Canada and fund it consistently. Invest aggressively in your human capital to maximize your earning trajectory. Avoid lifestyle inflation as your income grows. And build the wealth ecosystem foundation that you will spend the next decade expanding. $100 per month invested starting at 22 becomes over $680,000 by 65 at a 10% return. Start now, whatever the amount. If you are in your 30s, this is still an extraordinarily powerful time to build, but the actions need more intentionality than they did in your 20s. The compounding timeline is shorter, and you likely have more financial obligations: mortgage, family, higher lifestyle costs. Your priorities: eliminate consumer debt aggressively, maximize all tax-advantaged account contributions, significantly increase your income through career advancement or side income. Resist lifestyle inflation as your income rises. Consider real estate as an additional wealth-building vehicle, and build at least one scalable income stream. The investor who maximizes a Roth IRA from 35 to 65, investing the full contribution annually, accumulates well over $1 million in tax-free wealth. There is still time. Use it. If you are in your 40s, the urgency is real, but the situation is not hopeless. Not even close. You potentially have 25 years of compounding ahead of you, and your income is likely at or approaching its peak earning years. This combination, peak income and meaningful remaining compounding time, is genuinely powerful. Your priorities: aggressively maximize all available tax-advantaged contributions, including catch-up contributions in the U.S., which allow additional 401k and IRA contributions for people over 50. Eliminate all consumer debt immediately. Consider downsizing lifestyle costs to dramatically widen the savings gap. Build your most lucrative income streams now, while energy and capacity are at peak. And protect everything with comprehensive insurance and estate planning. The 40s investor who gets serious, really serious, about wealth building with 20-plus years remaining can still build a genuinely life-changing financial position. The math is harder. The urgency is higher, but the opportunity is absolutely real. If you're in your 50s or beyond, first, do not let anyone tell you it is too late. It is never too late to improve your financial position. Never. But the strategy must shift. With a shorter compounding timeline, the focus moves from aggressive growth to maximizing current contributions, reducing debt to zero, building income streams that will replace employment income, protecting assets from downside risk, and planning the specific structure of retirement income with professional guidance. Take advantage of every catch-up contribution available. Work with a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor. Make Social Security or pension optimization a priority. Downsize where appropriate to reduce expenses and increase the investment surplus. And consider working a few additional years beyond initial retirement age. Every additional working year both adds to savings and reduces the number of years savings must fund. Every age has its urgency. Every age has its opportunity. The time to act is always now. I want to be completely honest with you about something before we close. Building wealth is not complicated. The strategies are not secrets. The math is not mysterious. What is genuinely hard is the sustained commitment to prioritize your financial future over your present comfort. Month after month, year after year. Through changing circumstances and competing priorities and the constant cultural pressure to spend and consume and perform the appearance of success rather than quietly building the reality of it. That sustained commitment is where most people struggle. Not because they are weak or undisciplined or do not care about their futures, but because the system they live in is not designed to support that commitment. It is designed to redirect it toward consumption. Every advertisement is designed to redirect your wealth-building capital into someone else's revenue. Every social norm around spending, gifting, and lifestyle is calibrated to consume your surplus. Every financial product designed for middle-class consumers extracts fees and interest rather than building your wealth. Escaping this requires not just financial strategies, but a genuine, deep, personal clarity about why you are building wealth. What it is actually for. What your life looks like on the other side of financial freedom. What you're protecting when you choose the index fund contribution over the lifestyle upgrade. Find that clarity. Write it down. Return to it when the commitment gets hard, which it will. Because that clarity, that deeply personal, emotionally connected understanding of what you are building and why, is what sustains the commitment long enough for the math to produce its extraordinary results. The math works. It always works. Given enough time and consistency, it always works. Your job is simply to give it the time and consistency it needs. The 65-year-old sitting at the kitchen table doing the frightening math, they are not a different person from you. They are you, 20 or 30 years from now. And what they find in that math, the relief or the regret, depends entirely on the decisions the version of you sitting here today decides to make. You have the information. You have the framework. You have the urgency. All that remains is the decision. Make it today. Please hit the like button if this video gave you real value. Share it with someone you care about who needs to hear this message. Subscribe for weekly content on building genuine financial freedom. And drop a comment below. What is the single wealth-building action you're committing to take this week? Make it specific. Make it real. Write it in the comments and make it a commitment you can hold yourself to. I will see you in the next video. Go build your wealth before it is too late. That's all. Thanks for watching.